Hey guys, Metal Jesus here, and today I'm back with a review and some gameplay footage of me playing Hotshots Golf Open T2. This is playing on my Sony PSP handheld, and it is actually going out to the Retro Tink 5X, and that's how I'm capturing this. So I'm using this, basically upscaling it so that I can capture it with my Elgato game capture card. And I was capturing this footage for a pickups video that I did with Reggie. By the time you see this, probably a couple weeks ago, maybe a month ago, something like that, where I have this Retro Tink 5X, and one of the more exciting kind of features of it is that it now supports interlaced outputs. And so for the longest time, any of these Retro Tink devices did not really upscale, or I guess I should say line double, the PSP. The PSP just had a resolution or an output that it didn't recognize. And so now that I have this, I can run these games and capture them in a glorious 1080p. So that's kind of what you're seeing right here. Now, I can't tell you how much time I put into the original Hotshots Golf when it originally came out on the PSP. See, when the PSP came out, man, I was so excited for that thing. I was just like, wow, we're gonna get an actual PlayStation 2 quality console in my hand. And for the most part, that's exactly what you got. I mean, looking back, I think the games are probably closer. They're probably like the PlayStation 1.5, right? They're a little bit of a stopgap between the original PlayStation and the PlayStation 2. But you have to remember, at the time when the PSP came out, this was revolutionary, especially compared to, Nintendo's handheld. I mean, this just blew it out of the water with its quality. And because of that, I was all in on the PSP. I played every game that looked remotely interesting to me. And, it's fairly well known that I'm not the biggest fan of sports games. But yet, when it came to the PSP, I was willing to give them a chance. And Hotshots Golf was one of those, and I absolutely loved it. However, looking back, it's not that big of a surprise because while I don't watch or play baseball games or football games or soccer games or, basketball games, for some reason, these type of games I can really dig. I don't know why it is. It just is. And it didn't really start with this series now that I think about it, actually, because back on the PC in the mid 90s, there was Lynx 386. Remember that? That was a really popular golf game on the PC. So much so that it just had a ton of expansion packs and different golf courses that you could visit, stuff like that. And so this is kind of an extension of that a little bit. Now Lynx was definitely a more realistic simulation type game, but it's games like this that I think kind of made them more approachable, more family friendly, or maybe kid friendly because of the more kind of anime looking characters. And I don't remember if the controls have changed that much, actually, because I kind of feel like early on in these golf games, it was established that this would be the control method where you would basically, push the button once to start, build up your power, and then you'd push it again to send it back as far as accuracy, and then you'd try to hit it. You guys know what I'm talking about, that little bar down there. I don't even know how to really describe that other than, when you push it, it goes to the left for power, then it sends it backwards, and you're trying to hit it for accuracy in the center there, or you can either hook to the left or the right. So I kind of feel like that was established way back on Lynx. At least that's my memory of it. And so again, it's a gameplay mechanic that has stood the test of time. And honestly, anytime a golf game comes around that tries to change that up too much, doesn't work for me. This is what I like here. This is what I'm used to. And as you can see, I'm pretty decent at it. It should also be mentioned that this is not called Hotshots Golf everywhere. Actually, the real name of this game and series is Everybody's Golf. And the first time I saw that, I was like, what? Because again, in North America, we were introduced to it as Hotshots Golf. But outside of the U.S. and a lot of different areas, especially Japan, it's called Everybody's Golf. I have to say, I actually like the Hotshots Golf name better. I just think it kind of fits it, but maybe it's because they originally thought it would just be, Everybody's Golf is kind of I think it's more of a generic name, to be honest with you. I mean, I can get it. I get that they're trying to make it accessible for everybody, but Hotshots Golf just sounds more cool and interesting, don't you think? Another aspect of this game that they really promoted and I think helped get perhaps non-sports gamers interested in it is all of the collectibles. So as you play these games and as you win tournaments and move through the career mode, you then unlock, if I remember right, you definitely unlock other parts of clothing. You'll unlock hats, accessories like sunglasses, earrings, things like that. I'm trying to remember if you unlock other characters or not, because I pretty much just always stuck with the same character. But that's an aspect of this game that can be very addictive. In addition to try to win the rounds of golf, well, you can also unlock stuff to change up your character. Now, this is the second game, and so I haven't played this one as much as the first game. As you saw, I started a new game there, but the first game I played almost to the end, I would think. I mean, I literally played it for probably a year on and off, and in that one I just basically unlocked all sorts of stuff, although I don't necessarily really care about that stuff. It's just kind of nice to have, but it's not really motivation for me. Another thing about the PSP and why I enjoyed it so much is because it came along at a time when I was commuting to work pretty much every day on the bus, and it was one of those times where I used to commute like a lot of people using my car, but then my work started basically saying, hey, if you'll take the bus, we'll pay for it. One of those sort of things. And a lot of employers in the Seattle area do that now. I'm sure they do it in most cities, but at the time it was quite a big deal. And so, I didn't have to pay for parking anymore, and they would pay for my bus ride. And so every morning I would catch the bus right outside my house and play my PSP, both going to work, during lunch, and then on the way home. And so I got a lot of PSP use at that time. And again, I would just try and play everything. And so, Hotshots Golf is one of those games where you can do that fairly quickly in about a half an hour. You can get a good play session in a relatively short amount of time. So it worked out really well. By the way, guys, I'm not sick or anything. It's just the middle of July, and so my allergies are kind of freaking out. So that's kind of why I sound all nasally. I apologize. Again, these videos are kind of fun because they're just sort of off the cuff. Just me kind of hanging out, watching me play this footage here. And this is another one where I was capturing footage for that pickups video, and I just end up playing the game way more than I need to for... I'm getting way more gameplay footage than I need, but this is the best part of YouTube, in my opinion. It's definitely one of the great parts where I have an excuse to go back and play these games and, capture the gameplay footage. It's funny because a lot of people are like, hey, how come you don't just get gameplay footage off of the internet? And I've certainly done that occasionally, but to be quite honest, I look forward to going back and replaying these games and capturing the footage. It's just it's a perfect excuse to go and do something that I may not necessarily, see the motivation to do all the time. Like this one right here, where it's a pickups video, and I'm talking about the RetroTink 5, and I can hook pretty much any console to it, and it would give me gameplay footage. But again, it's like, wow, okay, let's go ahead and play a bunch of PSP games that I haven't played in a couple of years, and this is one of them. Also, Valkyrie Profile Lenneth was another one that I played and beat way back in the day on my PSP. And again, it's like, wow, okay, I haven't seen that game in a while. Let's go ahead and connect that to the Elgato and the RetroTink and replay it. And oh my God, it's so much fun. And so not much more to really talk about Hotshots Golf Open T2 running on the PSP. It's a golf game. And so if you like these kind of games, definitely check this out. They're both excellent on the PSP. You really could get either one of them. They play almost exactly the same. I think the only difference between this one is that at the time they were promoting 16-player online support, which is pretty awesome if you think about it. Online's not something I did very much on the PSP, again, because I was on the bus. And back then, the bus didn't have Wi-Fi, I suppose it probably has Wi-Fi now, or you would have a way of getting Wi-Fi. But back then, it was really just a solo experience for me. And so I never really got to test that. But I'm sure a lot of people did. That's a very cool feature for sure. But yeah, definitely check out Hotshots Golf on the PSP. There's also versions of it on the PS2. There's probably one for the PS3. I know there's a PlayStation VR one as well, which is actually really cool. I've talked about that on my channel. It's awesome to stand on the green and actually do the motions, and you have a caddy that travels along with you. It's kind of hard. I don't like it as much as this one, but it is really neat to play it in VR. So anyways, guys, that is my video and review of this, and thanks very much for watching. Take care.